Buonasera a tutti che ci raggiungono questa sera per la nostra quinta serata con questi webinar per gli HR e manager che devono gestire situazioni difficili, non solo nel caso del Covid ovviamente, ma anche nel dover gestire in inglese questa situazione. Questi HR, come alcuni di voi ormai sapranno, sono dedicati interamente a chi deve lavorare nelle risorse umane oppure deve gestire dei team o delle situazioni in cui è importante conoscere il linguaggio. Questa sera ci occuperemo dei rapporti con i clienti e fornitori, insieme a Natalie ovviamente, la National Corporate Director of Studies, e con me che sono Corporate Account su Milano e provincia. E come abbiamo detto tante volte, se avete delle domande potete farcele in diretta, potete scrivere nei live comments e cercheremo di rispondere ovviamente a tutte le domande. Per chi fosse con noi la prima volta, voglio dire velocemente due parole su MyS. MyS è una scuola di inglese, è una scuola che fa dei corsi molto personalizzati, sia per privati, ma soprattutto per le aziende. Cerchiamo di capire esattamente qual è l'obiettivo che si vuole raggiungere. Si vogliono raggiungere obiettivi sia linguistici, ma spesso professionali, nel senso che lavorando in diversi settori, diverse aree anche aziendali, è importante conoscere il proprio linguaggio, il linguaggio che ci serve nella vita lavorativa di tutti i giorni. Per questo i nostri corsi sono sempre orientati ad ottenere quegli obiettivi, facciamo delle analisi dei bisogni molto dettagliate in modo poi da costruire dei corsi che possano essere dei corsi, dei workshop o altre tipologie ancora di erogazione per poter permettere a tutti di ottenere i loro obiettivi. Abbiamo scuole in tutta Italia adesso, comunque nelle principali città italiane, abbiamo una scuola a Lione anche in Francia, una a Valencia in Spagna e anche, non dovrei dirlo, ma forse grazie al Covid abbiamo espanso la nostra capacità online e quindi possiamo adesso erogare corsi in tutto il mondo, direi. Adesso non voglio portare via altro tempo, se avete qualunque domanda, come ho detto, potete scrivere sui live comments, oppure se volete farci una domanda o parlare dei vostri bisogni aziendali, potete scriverci a corporate@myes.it. Adesso lascio la parola a Natalie, che inizierà ovviamente a parlare in inglese. D'ora in poi per questa serata sarà tutto in inglese e spero che troviate interessante e utile quello che andremo a fare questa sera. Natalie.
Thank you, Filippo. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming to watch. I'm Natalie Watkins, and I deal with the didactic side of our courses for Italy. We have these webinars every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And we want to help you, the managers and HR professionals who have English-speaking staff. Okay, so we have them at 7 p.m. Hopefully you finished work and you can listen to us. You can take some photos or some screenshots and use vocabulary and phrases immediately that you're probably finding you need at the moment for the first time. So many of our existing clients said to us, help. We find ourselves in a completely new world. Maybe they have very good English already. Some of them beginner, but also some advanced speakers of English who do not know vocabulary that you need during this particular time of COVID. So there are many things you need to prepare in your office on a practical level, many regulations and legislation you need to tell to your staff for the first time. And there is quite specific vocabulary for this. So we are here to help. 30 minutes every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Okay, so you can always request a theme, a topic you want us to talk about, you want help with. You can say in the comments, or you can email us at the email address corporate@mys.it. We're here to help. Obviously, this is for you. So if you are listening or if you are watching, you are welcome. I typically, along with the other didactic staff, help to design courses for clients to meet their needs, their specific needs. We as a school do not follow just a basic beginner, intermediate, advanced. We really listen to what our corporate clients need, as they are always different. I'm trying to think of some examples, Filippo. We've had breweries, haven't we? We've had law firms. Can you think of other industries?
Well, fashion, obviously, Milan.
Fashion, absolutely, lots of fashion, and very different types of fashion. It might be someone that focuses on just jewelry. Also, some of the bigger companies that do absolutely everything.
Yeah. Beverage companies, automotive. I would say the full range of companies.
Yes, pharmaceutical. I mean, everything you can think of, we've provided courses for. And of course, people have different needs. So maybe you need a sales course that's particular for the type of product you're selling. We speak to you about what you need and we create the course with you. So it's really important to us. We also follow your staff. So we don't put them on the course once a week and say, okay, let's see at the end, hopefully you reach the objective. We, as the course progresses, make sure they have enough support. Some people learn in different ways, so we can give people that need more help extra help. If someone is doing very well, we can increase the challenge for them. We're extremely flexible as a company. So that's just a bit about MyS. And tonight we are focusing in particular on suppliers and clients. Now, Filippo, first of all, a question. What do you think HR or managers are dealing with at the moment when it comes to us being in a COVID situation and their roles as HR or managers? What do we think that involves?
Well, I think it's all sort of things, to be honest, especially when it comes to clients and suppliers. They have to obviously think about who brings things, whatever, into the company. They have to think about their own stuff going into other companies, going to clients, their offices, their factories, and so on. At the same time, they need supplies. It could be any kind of things, from stationery to any other major supplies they need for their own businesses, or they need their clients to visit their own companies and their offices. So they obviously need to have policies for all of these different situations.
Exactly. So it's a completely new world, isn't it? I mean, we haven't had the situation before, for example, where we have to say to someone, okay, you are working in a warehouse and we need to have a maximum number of staff in the warehouse. You cannot pass one of your colleagues if you have small aisles, for example. So if one member of staff needs to pass another, maybe it's not possible, or you need to think about how you can do this in a narrow space. As you said, visitors, it can be your staff going into other offices and companies, or it can be you having visitors. You might need to make a decision not to have visitors. You need to explain this to your staff. So we will touch on this a little bit tonight. Obviously, we try to keep this short because we know how much you are looking at your computers at the moment, but we will go further into detail in more webinars. Okay, so all of these subjects, we make sure we cover all the vocabulary you really need. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so for example, some of the typical phrases you might need, you might want to take a photo. I know a lot of you are watching this also after, because you can't live, so thank you again for coming to watch. You can pause this, take a photo, or make a note of the particular vocabulary you want, keep it to hand, save it in your drawer or in your email. You might well be sending out these emails. So when communicating your policies at work, you might be saying specific employees will be designated to handle deliveries. So here we say designated. We could also say assigned. So just to emphasize the pronunciation of those, designated or assigned. So it means that John will always be dealing with this particular type of delivery. So he knows all of the regulations are involved to make sure he is safe and your staff are protected. But also we want to reassure our clients, obviously, and suppliers that we are doing everything necessary. Okay, so here we always want to be, as managers and HR, reassuring staff our priority is to protect them. And there are always two sides involved in the situation. So what are we doing to protect our staff? And how are we reassuring our customers and clients that they will be dealing with us in a safe way? That we are taking the proper precautions. So you might often use this word, precaution. So avoiding risk, being proactive instead of reactive. We use this expression a lot in business in English. So it's better, obviously, to avoid any spread of the virus, avoid any risk being taken for either parties, instead of something happening and then thinking about, okay, how do we avoid this in the future? Okay, we talk about, in English, handling deliveries. So in this way, in English, we usually say we have a department that handles deliveries. Now we might be saying we have specific staff or employees that handle all our deliveries. They are trained, they know the regulations. We are doing everything to make sure that everyone is aware of the rules and stay safe. Okay, but this is the verb here that we use to handle deliveries. Okay. These employees will be trained on the relevant procedures. So you'll probably be repeating this a lot at the moment. Relevant procedures, relevant legislation, relevant rules, laws. It means, obviously, people know you're referring to the recent ones that have been created because of the virus. And as I say every week, don't forget the pronunciation of virus, because obviously it's different in different languages. Okay, then we talk about loading and unloading will be done entirely either, and in English you can say either or either. Okay, both pronunciations are fine. By the supplier or entirely by the recipient. So here just making it very black and white how things will be done. Okay, in any case, you could also say in all cases, it would mean the same thing. Safe distances should be maintained. Remember the pronunciation of maintained, and hand washing may be requested. So here in English, when we say should be maintained, it means it's necessary. So it is not saying that you will be committing a crime if you don't do it, but you absolutely must do this. Okay, so that's an important way that we imply in English that you must do something. So safe distances should be maintained. You must do it. Okay, then we're talking about payments. There has been a lot of discussion in the press, so in the news online and in newspapers, lots of discussion about using cash at the moment because of COVID. So in fact, they've demonstrated that people in general are avoiding using cash. And so you could be saying here to your staff, when dealing with clients, insist on electronic payments or making payments electronically. You may have an internal policy about this. You want to communicate to your staff. So avoid the use of cash. And here in English, when we talk about cash, we always mean the physical money. So it could be coins or paper, but we're talking about physical money. Okay, so the alternative are electronic payments, which again, you could go one step further and say we're talking about you can use a credit card or a debit card, or we are only accepting online payments. And here also ensure that the payment terminal, so where you put your card into, is cleaned regularly. So ensure, you could also say make sure. Ensure is slightly more professional, so you might want to use that in a business situation, but you can absolutely say make sure. Okay. Anything that surprises you about that, Filippo? Or was that what you were expecting?
Well, yes, I'm not surprised. The one thing that I noticed is quite different from Italian. What would be the difference between, I know what the credit card is, but what's a debit card?
Yeah, the banking system is very different, actually. I can't comment for America, Australia, and other countries, English-speaking countries, but in the UK, where I'm from, we separate credit and debit cards physically. So in Italy, they're often tied to the same account. I'm not sure about France and Spain. And so a debit card takes the money out immediately. The credit card does not.
So is that what we would call bancomat in Italian? When you that you use to withdraw money directly from your account?
Yes, I mean you can do this with a credit card, but they would charge you a lot.
Yeah.
In English.
Whereas if you use a bank card, or what we call a bancomat in Italian, probably it's just to get the money out or make payments that go directly from your account to the person you're buying something from, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you, from a business point of view, I don't think there's much of a difference, except a credit card often comes with insurance. So, for example, if someone paid with a credit card, you're more protected as a company. So sometimes that's helpful. But yeah, in general, I would say bancomat is the same as debit card. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
No problem. Also, I know that in Italy you use things such as Satispay. People pay with their phones now quite frequently. Again, I mean, that's up to company policy if you want to accept that, but you probably need to be really clear with your staff about what you accept at the moment, and how physically your staff will handle a situation when a client is paying. So all of these things need to be considered.
So one more question. When you talk about handling, you mean the actual, it's not the management, it's not the kind of procedures and so on. We're talking about what you actually do physically with a box or something that you move it from one place to another. Okay.
It's a really good question, because it can be both. So when we talk in business English, when we talk about handling deliveries in a general context, we do just mean dealing with, managing, organizing. So someone that handles deliveries could just be on the telephone saying, can this be delivered there? Has it arrived? This type of thing.
Okay.
I mean, in this context, it's more likely, like you say, to be physical. So who's going to handle the product? No, it's a really good question. It can be used in both ways.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, typically when we talk about handling deliveries, it means managing. So, okay, let's have a look at what's next. So, here we're talking about, again, protecting not only staff, but the customers. So here we have a sentence which could be difficult for a non-native speaker. Where possible, deliveries will be planned in a staggered manner. What do you think that means, Filippo?
Well, probably they want to manage. They want to decide that they want to be able to plan when everything's arrived. So probably they don't want everything to arrive at the same time. So stagger means that they come at different times.
Exactly. There are two very different meanings of staggered. So the first, not relevant, I think, at work, would be to walk in a particular way. Usually you stagger if you have been injured. So you see someone in a film staggering after they've been shot. They're staggering to the ground, falling on the ground. Or it could be if you've had one too many Prosecco's, and you're staggering to get home. You're walking in a strange way. Here, obviously, and often we use this when we're talking about spreadsheets and other business subjects at work. We talk about staggered, and we just mean in the way that it's organised. So exactly like you say,
Yeah.
we're talking about you only want one person arriving at 9 o'clock. So if you're supposed to have 5 deliveries normally at 9 o'clock, you stagger them. You have one every hour instead. And that's what we mean. So it's unlikely you would get those two meanings confused. I hope.
Okay.
Okay, so then we talk about protecting staff and customers. You can say customers or clients when you're talking about work. It's better to just choose one and stay with it. So sometimes by mixing them, it can be a confusing message. So generally, we talk about customers when we're talking about retail, and clients when we're talking about a more formal situation. But it has become more interchangeable, let's say, in the business world in the last 20 years since I started. It's definitely become more of a mix. So people just choose to use clients or they use customers. Okay, and limit congestion. So we're talking about not having lots of people in the same place at the same time. If we have lots of people arriving and leaving from a warehouse or your premises, there's congestion. So it means maybe Filippo has to push past me because there is no space, because there are too many people, and we are no longer using the social distancing of 1 meter or 2 meters, depending on your country. So we want to limit congestion. It's a nice phrase you can use often in this COVID situation. The maximum number of people that can simultaneously stay inside the premises at any given time will be limited. Again, these are words that you will be using again and again at the moment. Simultaneously, I'm sure you can imagine, at the same time. Premises, I said last week, it's important to say again. We use premises because it's not always the case. We are talking about an office. We could be talking about a shop, a retail outlet, a warehouse, a studio, a location set outside. So premises will cover all of your, okay, or spaces that could be outside. Limited, obviously, we're using all the time at the moment. We want to limit the numbers of staff, limit interaction, limit the possibility for spreading the virus. We're going to be using this a lot. Okay, and then just a sentence you might need talking about particular materials and how they can retain the virus. Okay, so just to check the pronunciation of these words: plastic, stainless steel, copper, and cardboard. So cardboard, quite often we use in a business sense because obviously many deliveries come in cardboard. So it's quite useful to know the pronunciation of this if you need it. And finally, where possible, deliveries will be disinfected at delivery bays. Delivery bays, these are what we call the place where the delivery arrives. So you could have just a reception because you don't have many deliveries. If you have many deliveries, you probably have a delivery bay, and that is the terminology we use in English. So a big area where your deliveries arrive and leave from. Before entry into warehouses or production processes. Okay, so just to confirm the pronunciation for all of those. Now, again, we touch on these subjects quickly because we know that you have a lot of screen time at the moment. We just want to get you listening to native English for half an hour and to give you some key phrases that can help you now so you feel more confident speaking English about COVID and all of the things that you're having to deal with at the moment. We know there's a lot to deal with. I will just very quickly give you a review of, let's have a look here. because we're always told this is useful for you. Okay, so just the basics, going back to basics again, about things to say at the start of a video call. So if you're in the situation, which I know most of you are still, where you're video calling all day, these are just the good expressions to learn a few of them and keep them in your back pocket so you feel confident. So if you're the host, good morning or afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me clearly? It's great to see everyone. Please tell me if you have any technical issues. Don't forget technical, the pronunciation. Please stay on mute unless you have a question, and switch off your video if you have a poor internet connection. Okay, very common expressions. And yes, I don't think there's any other pronunciation in the other box. So those again are just to help you, just to remind you, good ways to start video calls at the moment, because we know that could be helpful for you. So we will be here again at 7 o'clock next week. We're choosing topics that usually you suggest because of what you need. So please email us or put in the comments any particular subject you want help with in this very particular moment. And if you want to contact us also, Filippo will now give you a reminder of how you can do that. Thanks very much for watching again. And I'll hand over to Filippo.
Thank you, Natalie. Siamo arrivati anche questa sera alla fine del nostro breve webinar. Spero che abbiate trovato, chiamiamole, delle perle che vi possano aiutare nel vostro lavoro quotidiano. Come avete visto, le espressioni sono tante e bisogna saperle usare in ogni situazione, bisogna saperle usare nel giusto contesto, ma è fondamentale che spieghiamo a tutti quelli con cui lavoriamo, che siano clienti, che siano fornitori, esattamente come poter gestire la situazione. Non mi resta che, prima di augurarvi una buona serata, volevo ricordarvi che ovviamente è possibile rivedere questo webinar, per cui per chi avesse perso un pezzo, ci fossero stati dei problemi di connessione, oppure vogliate rivedere alcune espressioni, vogliate passare un po' più di tempo su una frase in particolare, o non siete riusciti a fare una fotografia o riprendere e trascrivere quello che c'era sullo schermo, potete tornare sul canale. Questi webinar sono sempre visibili in qualunque momento, per cui potete vederlo voi, consigliarlo a colleghi o amici o chiunque altro pensiate che possa beneficiare da questa cosa. Inoltre volevo anche ricordarvi che è sempre possibile contattarci, vedete l'email corporate@myes.it che scorre qui sotto, sia per avere maggiori informazioni ma anche per consigliarci degli argomenti. Noi ovviamente stiamo cercando di fornire tutti quelli che pensiamo noi siano gli argomenti più importanti. In alcuni casi sono stati suggeriti da nostri, chiamiamoli spettatori, in altri casi sono stati pensati da noi stessi, ma se avete delle idee o vorreste approfondire qualche argomento in particolare, sentitevi liberi di contattarci e noi cercheremo ovviamente di creare un webinar su quell'argomento. L'ultima cosa che volevo dirvi prima di lasciarvi è che martedì prossimo andremo a vedere un argomento che forse è altrettanto importante a quelli che abbiamo visto finora, non è di immediato utilizzo, ma purtroppo è una cosa che va presa in considerazione, ovvero la seconda ondata, the second wave, come dicono. Cosa succederà in ottobre, novembre, magari dicembre, non lo sa nessuno, però sicuramente sappiamo che le aziende adesso devono iniziare a pensarci, devono pensare cosa faranno se andrà tutto bene, cosa faranno se ci sarà qualche problema, cosa faranno se ci saranno dei problemi più importanti. E quindi settimana prossima guarderemo proprio a questa questione della second wave e della possibilità che si debba tornare a occuparci di questa cosa, mentre ovviamente ci auguriamo tutti che le cose si risolvano durante l'estate e che si trovi una soluzione più duratura e che ci permetta di tornare tranquillamente ai nostri lavori come siamo abituati a fare. Con questo non mi resta che augurarvi buona serata, ringraziare ancora Natalie, che è stata come sempre di grande aiuto, che spero sia servito anche a voi con il suo accento ovviamente migliore del mio, più utile nel spiegare frasi ed espressioni in inglese. Buonasera a tutti e spero di rivedervi settimana prossima o in altre occasioni. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good evening, everyone.